Hey there, it's Lowell Wild Jr. Today we are on the second of our series on how to plan for 2021. Last week we talked about goal setting, and hopefully you all started to think about your organizational goals for 2021. If you haven't, now's the time to start to work on it, because you really need to have the goals in place before you can start to move forward with the other things that you may want to accomplish in 2021. So today, in our part 2 of our series, we're going to talk about budgeting. And budgeting is not a fun conversation. It's not an easy exercise to go through, but boy, is it necessary. I can tell you at Wild Foot and Ankle Institute, we never really did a formal budget until about 2 years ago, when we had our director of finance and accounting come on board, and she started forcing us into a formalized budget process. And I can tell you, it's a really life-changing thing. And I know we're bigger than most of the organizations that are listening to me today, but you can still have an important budgeting plan that will take you through the upcoming year in a meaningful way. So when I talk about budgeting, one thing that you have to understand is when you create a budget, there is no way that you're going to hit the budget exactly. You might spend more, you might spend less, you might make more, you might make less. You'll never get it exactly right. But here are the things that you need to go through as you think about budgeting. First of all, you have to look at previous year's financial experience, meaning, what did you do in 2019? What did you do in 2020? Yes, weird year, but if you adjust for the weird COVID, what does 19 and 20 look like going into 2021 in terms of revenue, expenses, new things that you want to get involved with? Do you have new doctors? Do you have more employees? Have you contracted a little bit so you have less expenses? You have to look at all of those things. You also have to look at things like, where are you spending your money? Are your supplies more expensive, or have you done a good job of negotiating better rates with your suppliers so your supply cost is going down? Is your rent expense going up because of an accelerated lease? Those are the types of things you need to look at when you have a formalized budget. And you should be able to start with looking at your P&L, your profit and loss statement that your accountant should be doing for you over previous years and quarters and months, and then you can project into 2021. So some basic things you want to look at is, how much do you think you're going to collect organizationally in 2021? Well, how do you do that? Well, how many doctors do you have? How many days a week are they going to work? What's the average revenue per visit? And then you can start to put that data together and have some expectations on what 2021 revenue looks like. Expenses. What is your employee costs? What is your occupancy cost? Your leases? Those are types of things you want to look at. What is your marketing spend and investment going to be? What other investments do you want to make? Are you going to buy a new device that's going to improve patient care? Are you going to remodel an office to update it? Are you going to put some new furniture in? Those are things you need to be looking at as you start to think about what your budget is. And as you do that, you should have a wish list. Here are the things that I'd love to spend my money on. Here's how much money we expect to make. Here are costs that we're going to definitely have. And here's my wish list of things that I like to spend money on. And then you can start to put a budget together. Part of your budget should be education and investing in yourself as well. A lot of the people who are in our FABI Mastermind program, part of their budget is they're investing in themselves through education and FABI and other things. So you should be thinking about the investment you're going to make in yourself as part of your budget. But you need to put it in a spreadsheet. You need to put it in place. Maybe you need to talk to your accountant. Maybe you need to talk to your spouse. Maybe you need to talk to your key leaders in your organization about what they're looking for. But you need to put a budget in place, and then you need to start to hold yourself accountable to the budget. If you didn't plan on spending for this big device that comes up in June and July, you need to look in the mirror and talk to your team. Is this something we really want to spend on? And are we going to cut something else because we're going to spend on this? This is how a budget works. And this is how you get to a truly profitable organization, and you really then are running a business, not just a medical practice. So spend some of the next few weeks putting a budget together, and you may not finish by the end of the year. It may bleed into the early January, but you need to do it soon. I can tell you, for me, we're formalizing our budget in December, and in January, I've got to present that to the board of directors. So it's something that I have to do, and you should think about who you're presenting it to make sure you're holding yourself accountable. So get that budget done before the end of the year, plan for 2021, and have a great week.